So I've been detained outside the plane here. It said on the screen select D with red blinking when they scanned my boarding pass. You'll remember I was a leading political candidate against Dianne Feinstein in April when they kicked me out of the convention. Then the following May 5th convention, I could point to them, and they actually had me go to the VIP registration at the convention only to have me escorted out, and they tried to have me arrested because I simply pledged not to support Israel and that I would put America first. I was swabbed down. My genitals were beyond any reasonable amount patted down for minutes at security, and now I'm detained. That's my plane right there. I'm not allowed on the plane. I'm being detained here by this gentleman without reason. This is targeted political harassment. I had the police called on me saying all sorts of stuff that wasn't true in the attempt to get me swatted. The police, I had a nice conversation with them. This was the week before the election on June 5th. Had a nice conversation with the police. They apologized. They said that a bunch of people had called in a bunch of bogus stuff about me. This is targeted harassment against a political candidate. I was a leading candidate against Feinstein when they were trying to swat my house, when they doxed my family, when we were receiving death threats. And now I can't even travel normally. I'm a registered political candidate for the presidential primary, just as I was a leading candidate when I was running for Senate. And I'm sitting here in front of the plane that's about to take off, being detained, and they won't give me a reason. All I did was stop and eat at Burger King and take a nap in the terminal waiting for my plane. Did not even interact with anyone. So they're going to pat me down again and probably give me a reason why I can't get on the plane to protest the Washington, D.C. AIPAC convention. This is targeted political harassment, and I would like you to start taking note of what's happening here. They did the same thing to Ken O'Keefe when he started complaining about Israel. Sir, may I get on the plane now? May I get on my plane? Okay. We're waiting for the supervisor. How much do you want to bet the supervisor doesn't arrive until after the plane takes off? Yeah. So that's about it. Just waiting for the supervisor here. All right, we'll do some Q&A for the candidate while you're waiting here. Anyone have any questions, perhaps pertaining to other times I've been harassed with targeted political harassment when I was traveling? Maybe talk about the 2 times they had a team of cops come to my apartment and try to swat me for no reason. Remember, I have it all live streamed before as I printed out the boarding passes that said this is not a boarding pass, as they time after time told me there was no one available to talk to when I arrived well before my flight took off. And then once they gave me the replacement boarding pass for the second flight, which was delayed, remember, there were issues where they had to spend about, 45 minutes figuring out how to get me my ticket? So this is why we need to send more donations. We raised about $14,000 with my Senate campaign. If I raise that much again, that's enough for a bus. So we're going to try and avoid taking air transport because it looks like this is going to happen a lot. It's getting unreasonable. I've submitted to anything they want. I just told them if they wanted to pat me down again, just to, spend a little less time on the genital region. And I think that's a reasonable request, and I said it quite politely, but now I'm being detained outside the plane, which is going to take off in 12 minutes. And this is ridiculous. This is targeted harassment of a presidential candidate, a man who was polling in the top challenger to Feinstein in the Senate race. Doesn't matter that I got 90,000 votes. Doesn't matter that I got support from all sorts of other people. Doesn't matter. I criticize Israeli influence in our government, and I do so peacefully. Anyhow, we're just waiting for the plane to take off before the supervisor shows up. Pretty sure this is how it's going to happen. Yeah. So, how many minutes after the plane takes off is the supervisor?
That's why I'm standing here.
So, how many minutes after the plane takes off will the supervisor arrive, sir?
Answer that question.
Okay. So he won't tell me how many minutes after the plane takes off the supervisor will arrive. Apparently I need to talk to the supervisor because I asked him quite nicely to be gentle on the genitals when I get pat down this time. Now, I've never before in my 60 or 100 times that I've gone traveling seen anyone detained for a pat down getting onto a plane. Now, when I made the request that this time my genitals experience a little bit lighter of a treatment than they experienced at the gate, and I got the works when I went through security before. He said he had to call a supervisor, so I should have just taken it, and it was probably going to be an absurd amount of patting on the genitals again, but I should have just said nothing.
My supervisor is coming. She's on OC.
Well, will she be here before the plane takes off?
Hopefully, we'll see.
Well,
she's coming soon.
I can hope in one hand and then watch the plane take off in the other, and then see which one. Anyhow, so we can do some Q&A while we're waiting. I won't be able to drive to DC before the conference is over. I'll take a look at the live chat. Yeah. Yeah, well, this is political harassment. At this point, they're trying to keep me from making my flight. While I was flattered when it said selectee next to my name when they scanned my boarding pass, at this point, it's getting a little ridiculous. I've submitted to anything they wanted to do. The request that they go easy on the genitals this time was completely reasonable. I was a little bit uncomfortable last time, but yeah. This is targeted political harassment, and I guarantee the supervisor isn't going to get here before that plane back there takes off. So. We need the campaign bus, guys. If we can raise that $14,000 again like we did last campaign, I can get the bus that I was talking about before. I've got a volunteer who would agree to drive it. I've got a guy who's agreed to do camera. I have a new tech guy. Most of my workers for my campaign are doing this pro bono. We just need a little bit of cash to buy the campaign bus so that this doesn't happen again. I clearly cannot rely on air transport. This is the same stuff that happened to Ken O'Keefe. And, yeah. We're just waiting for the supervisor. I'll let you guys watch as the plane prepares to take off. So we're going to watch them shut the door. The door's probably going to shut in the next 6 or 7 minutes. There's my plane. It's probably going to take off before I'm allowed on it. Now, if you'd like to give me the pat down, I'm offering you. Go ahead, give me the pat down. Inspect my stuff.
Supervisor before we see any more process.
Okay. Well, we're waiting on the supervisor. Now, doesn't matter that I had a secret security clearance with the Marine Corps, that I served honorably, that I was discharged with the rank of sergeant. Doesn't matter that I ran and did a damn good job on almost no money against the incumbent for U.S. Senate. It matters that I criticize Israeli involvement in our government. It matters that I point out the fact that what happened to the USS Liberty was indeed an attack by Israelis that cost us over 200 casualties, including 34 dead. We have the radio intercepts of the USS Liberty's attacking planes, discussing with the Israeli ground control that it was a U.S. ship that they were about to lay siege to. I talked about this. I talked about the Lavon affair, where the Israelis also targeted U.S. military bases in the 1950s. I guess you're not allowed to talk about this stuff. There's my plane. And it's going to take off before I am allowed to talk to a supervisor.
She's here. She's here.
Okay. This is targeted political harassment. They can go to the FEC's website and see my FEC Form 1 and FEC Form 2. They can see that I'm an official candidate. Hi,
I wish I'd known. I'm the last person.
my name is Patrick Little, and I am live streaming this on my campaign channel.
Oh, okay. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I'll check.
Okay.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, hi. My name is Patrick Little. I'm a presidential candidate. I can show you the forms with the FEC. I have to go to a conference in D.C.
Okay, and we have to pat you down all the way,
Okay.
as we instructed.
I will script
and
it
I'm
right here if you guys need me to.
No,
Okay.
no, we had a problem with you telling him about where he was touching you in your private parts, right?
On the way in here, it was like 45 seconds of him doing the groin, and I just, if he could minimize how much of that he does. Now, I submit to whatever pat down needs to happen.
He's going to do it per procedures.
Okay, well, here's my eyes closed. And
Okay, but we're going to wait for my boss to get here because I didn't call everybody to come in.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Now,
you.
he can spend 3 minutes on my junk if he wants to. That's fine. I won't
No,
say anything.
no. He's not going to take no 3 minutes.
Okay. I shouldn't have said anything. Oh, well. But, yeah, this is what happens. That's my plan.
Manager's here.
Okay.
1 minute.
I need me about 1 minute.
Okay. Soon as he get patted down, we'll be ready to go. But I cannot do anything without my boss.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to stream the pat down here, but just letting you know, this is the second time I've already once today. I arrived about 2 hours before my flight. It wouldn't print a boarding ticket.
Kevin,
Kevin.
come here, darling.
Wouldn't print the boarding ticket, and they had me go back and forth as I live streamed between different counters something like 6 times. And every time I would arrive near the front of the line at one of the counters, they would say, "Oh no, you need to go to the other counter." Then, when I called United Airlines and I got the replacement ticket after I had been forced to miss my last flight, it took them over an hour to get my ticket in order because there were problems. So I'm having trouble seeing that many coincidences, although it could be pure coincidence. I do think that this is getting a little extreme. And think back to what happened in the weeks before the 2018 June 5th election. Things got ridiculous. Remember, the fire alarm was being pulled on my apartment building the nights before the election. Remember repeatedly the police showing up to my door with reports of crazy activity. And this is just more of the same. You're going to see a lot more of this during the campaign. This is targeted political harassment. It's probably not coming from the people here. It's probably coming from without. It's probably people calling in and saying crazy stuff. But regardless, this is something you have to put up with. And when you talk about the powers that be, things get interesting. Yeah, the supervisor is here, right next to me. I'm waiting for him to come over. The plane is supposed to leave 9:40, so I don't see how I'm getting on that plane within the next 2 minutes. I've told them they can pat me down as much as they want to. Anything, you know? I'm willing to get patted down as much as they need to pat me down. But I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Still waiting. Still waiting. And it is now 9:39. So the plane's supposed to leave in about a minute. Could I request that pat down in a reasonable amount of time?
tell my where the further instructions.
Okay. Sure. I will strip naked if you guys need me to.
No,
If we
sorry.
had needed that, we would have asked for it, sir.
Yeah.
We absolutely do not.
Well, go right
Okay,
ahead.
okay. Kevin, come over here. I want to give him the vice grip like we normally do.
I'll close my eyes and I'll think.
Alright, sir. So I'll guide you down the palm of my hand for a slight motion. If the border of what you the back of my hand. From here, in a thigh, in a waistband. Do you have any pain or sensitive areas?
I don't have any pain. I just don't want to cause the pain.
You need carpet screening.
No, go ahead, right here.
Stop here. That's shoulders. Get the waistline right here.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. Swab away.
One, two, three.
Go right ahead.
In a thigh, all the way down. The front.
Sure. Sorry, I haven't been able to make it to the gym quite as often as I used to.
Little waistline area.
Go ahead. That's right now. That's why I called them.
Need to, I gotta snap.
Where it is. No, they took it off. Okay.
Next down for a moment.
Sure.
Okay.
Hopefully I didn't pick up anything nasty at Burger King. Alright.
Greg?
That down is for there, anything further? Okay, we're good. Thank you so much, Pat. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, should we wrap that?